The inner trunk had an excessive amount of surface rust on it. I've cleaned that off. It may look a little rusty now, but this is actually perfect for the metal prep that I'm going to do. I'm going to use the POR 15 paint over rust preventative, and that'll take care of this. It'll never rust again, at least not from the inside. But take a closer look right here. Okay, if I hadn't have separated the inner trunk from the outer trunk, I wouldn't have noticed. Well, I may have noticed it, but I may not have noticed that this metal down here is rusted through. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to need to cut this metal out and put a patch in here. Otherwise it'll just rust right through again and it won't be any good. I have the inner trunk lid off the car right now. This section of metal is very rusted out. This part is solid pretty much back into here, but when I get into this section, you can see the pitting here. This part, probably at least down to here, needs to be replaced on this side. Okay, on this side, we're only rusted out right here. The metal over here is just pitted. It feels just as thick. So we're going to make a smaller patch on this side. I think I'm going to go from about an inch beyond it to about right here. Keep your fingers away from that bad boy. We're going to go ahead and make this a flanged patch. I'm going to use these vice grips from Eastwood that have flange shaping capabilities. See how that step there? When I crush the metal between that, it'll make that shape into the metal and allow this to overlap and have the same kind of shape when it's done. So decide which way I'm going to go. I want it flanged up on this side. So line this up with the back of it, squeeze it, okay, release it. Can you see that there? It started to make a little bit of a relief in it, a little bit of a lip. We'll keep working our way down the patch. Again, line up the back. Okay. Go ahead and squeeze it. Release, move down, keep doing it until you get this all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these corners off a little bit, round them off. Now I'm going to decide exactly where this patch is going to go here. This is about the middle of it. This is about the middle of the bore of the thing, so let's just mark that there. That'll be my middle. I want it to come below this curve here, so I'm not messing around with the curve. So let's mark it. Okay, now I don't want to cut it here because then I'd have to butt weld it. I'm going to go ahead and mark this about a ½ inch in. This will be the part that we remove right in here. Don't go too high. Okay, here's my rusty piece. I'll work my way into this. Okay, I'll work it back from the other side. Okay, I flipped it over so I could see the underside so I can mark it here. I'm going to mark the edge where I want to cut this off. Let's Go ahead and line up the two pieces of metal. It's resting right on them. Now I'm going to drill some 3/16 inch holes. Make sure I'm kind of centered in the middle of this outer section where it's flat. Okay, I'm going to clean off the burrs and prepare it for welding. This is where it's going to get welded. I'm going to clean up the area here on the trunk lid itself with a flap wheel. Okay, so the pitting was a little tough in here. I'm going to hit it with this grinder lightly. I don't want to take off too much metal. It isn't exactly as flat as I like it, so I'm going to go ahead and clean that up a little bit with this dolly. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit this area that I'm going to weld on both the trunk lid itself and also the patch with this SEM copper weld through primer. Alright, so I'm going to take the patch, painted side down, align it where I want it to be in the holes here. Take a look here. Okay, make sure I've got even clearance on both sides. Okay, I'm going to line up the bottom edges. Okay, go ahead and lock one side down. We'll clamp it here. We'll hit this weld and then move on down. Before I weld, I want to make sure I got a nice tight seam here. So okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to weld in this hole right here. Okay, this is what the welds look like before I clean off the splatter and dress the welds. Not too bad.